The plot of the Scorch trials takes place immediately following the previous installment, as Thomas, O'Brien, and his fellow Gladers have just escaped from the maze, which had imprisoned them. In a flashback, a mother leaves her son, Thomas, with the scientist Ava Page and troops of the organization Wicked. Thomas and other children are placed in a moving maze in a place known as the Glade as part of the scientific testing. Years later, shortly after being rescued from the maze, Thomas and the remaining Gladers are taken to a facility run by Mr. Jansen. He says that the facility is a haven protecting them from the cranks, infected humans that were zombified by the flare virus. Under Jansen's care, they discover that they were not the only people in the experiment and that many more mazes were constructed aside from their own. Thomas becomes suspicious of Jansen and investigates the facility. With help from Aris, the first maze survivor to arrive in the facility from another maze, Thomas discovers that Wicked's leader, Ava Page, is still alive, and Jansen is working for Wicked when they discuss experiments on the immunes and that Jansen has yet to find a resistance group in the mountains known as the Right Arm. The Gladers, including Aris, rescue Teresa and escape the facility to the desolate outside world, the Scorch. Jansen sends troops to track them down. The group arrives at an abandoned shopping mall and encounters hordes of cranks. They escape, but Winston gets infected by one of them. By morning, Winston's infection becomes worse, which forces the others to let him kill himself to prevent his transformation. While crossing the desert, the group takes shelter in the abandoned facility from a deadly lightning storm. Inside, they meet Brenda and Jorge, who leads a dangerous band of survivors. Brenda and Jorge agree to take them to the Right Arm and abandon the other survivors. Wicked locates the facility and storms the place. Thomas and Brenda are left behind, as the rest escape with Jorge. As Thomas and Brenda escape the cranks, Brenda is infected. Thomas experiences a flashback of him and Teresa working for Wicked in which Thomas tries to warn Teresa of Wicked's plans, only for both to be apprehended by Wicked soldiers. As Thomas and Brenda reunite with the rest of the group, Jorge interrogates Marcus, a survivor who secretly works for Wicked, into revealing the location of the Right Arm. The group eventually arrives at a roadblock, where several people ambush them. However, two young women, Harriet and Sonia, recognize Aris and stands down. They take the Gladers, Brenda, Jorge, and Aris to the Right Arm's outpost camp, where other immune survivors are present. Vince, leader of the Right Arm, greets them. As Brenda's infection gets worse, Vince threatens to shoot her, only to be stopped by Mary Cooper, a former Wicked scientist, who reveals that Thomas was their informant, due to him becoming disillusioned with Wicked and having helped the Right Arm take down Wicked's illegal major operations ever since. As Mary halts Brenda's infection by using an enzyme cure, Mary explains that the enzyme must be harvested from an immune's body, not manufactured, and that arguments over the methods of manufacturing the cure with Paige led to Mary's departure from Wicked. Teresa calls Wicked to their location since she still believes that Wicked's motivations are good, which leads to them being attacked by Wicked. Soldiers quickly overwhelm the rebels and line up the survivors in front of Paige and Jansen, who arrive in a Berg, a very large aerial vehicle employed by Wicked as transportation. Teresa explains to Thomas that she got her memories back from Wicked whilst with Jansen. Mary is shot and killed by Jansen, and Wicked troops take the immune survivors, including Minho, Aris, and Sonia. With only a fraction of the survivors left at the site, Thomas plans to kill Paige and save everyone from Wicked.